Okay, so I understand that my previous video was a rather long one, but if you managed to get through it, then well done, you've done a lot better than Boxman. Now, in the previous video, we had taken a look at how to set up a drawing in perspective, and to help explain what's involved, I had produced what I referred to as a spectator's view, and then shown the drawing as a result, looking at how to set up the cone of vision and draw using any lens of our choice. I'm going to do the same in this video, but instead of drawing boxes, I'll create some different examples. So here I have set up a drawing for three types of lenses: a wide angle lens, a standard lens, and a telephoto lens. The reason I did this in the last video was to show you how changing the lens, in other words changing the focal length and in turn the angle of view, affects how a drawing appears due to the station point, the position of our camera, moving closer or further away, which means our vanishing points that we locate from that station point are also closer or further away. And as we know, the further away your vanishing points, the further your converging lines have to travel to meet them, resulting in a drawing that is similar to a photo that is captured with a telephoto lens, and vice versa. As your vanishing points get closer together, the resulting drawing is similar to a photo that was captured with a wide angle lens. Now, I'm going to take these three setups and construct a grid before scaling them up to create a drawing. But first of all, we need something to draw. We all know that Boxman is, well, let's say, a slow learner, and because of this, out of frustration, he has destroyed his car. And so now he's in desperate need of a new one, and so we need to draw him one. Here is my setup for a telephoto lens. Each of these lines from the station point are at 12.5 degrees, giving me a 25-degree angle of view. And because I'm using a telephoto lens with a small angle of view, the station point is a lot further away. Now I need to establish some vanishing points, and remember, these are also found by taking some lines from the station point at any angle of our choice, as long as they total to 90 degrees. I'll place a vanishing point at 30 degrees and one at 60 degrees. Now that I have my vanishing points, I can start constructing a grid, which is worth doing, especially in an example like this when the vanishing points are also far away. So now that I have this grid, I make a copy of this layer and then scale this up so that my picture plane is at a suitable size. I can now print this out and lay my paper on top or draw directly onto the grid. It really depends how you prefer to work. In this example, this was before I had purchased a printer, I had redrawn this grid in pencil. Now it's time to create a drawing. A drawing of a car. Now whilst I will show you some images of the steps involved in drawing this car, a full step-by-step tutorial is available on my Patreon page. I do want to keep things moving in this video, and so this is more so an example of how to set up and apply all of what we have covered so far. Although they are only subtle, I can still see those grid lines under my paper, which help guide the direction of my lines as they head towards those vanishing points. Because I'm using a telephoto lens here, you'll notice that my construction lines are on less of an angle as they are travelling further to the vanishing points. Compare the drawing at this stage to the vehicle I had drawn in the last video using a wide angle lens, and you'll see the difference. Boxman always likes it when a drawing is at this stage because everything is constructed using boxes. I like to think of this as a simple wireframe in which I then start to develop more suitable forms. And if you haven't guessed already, the specific car I am drawing here is a Porsche 911. So, Boxman, what do you think of your new car? Hello? What? No. Come on, you've got to be joking. You're seriously choosing that over this sports car? Okay, fine, if that's what you want. Actually, this might be a good thing because this drawing of a more simple yet stylized car was drawn using the setup I had for a standard lens with a 45-degree angle of view. And I had also created a grid for this one, the same way as I did in the last example, except this time I had also positioned my vanishing points at different angles, one at 50 degrees and then one at 40 degrees. I would usually draw these grids out myself using the line tool in Photoshop, but I've recently discovered a downloadable plugin called Perspective Tools 2. It's really useful because by drawing just a few lines or selecting the location of your vanishing points, a grid is automatically generated. Again, I scale this up and then print it out so that I can overlay a sheet of paper and start drawing. This one was a lot easier to draw, given that it mostly consists of boxes in perspective. You might have noticed that in this example, I've also lowered the horizon line. Look, Boxman, if you want that car instead, then you can have it, but you best make your mind up because I don't want to keep drawing vehicles. I'm supposed to be showing them a range of different examples. Thankfully, we have one setup left to use, which is for a wide-angle lens. Each of these lines from the station point are at 45 degrees, giving me a 90-degree angle of view. For this example, I'll also place a vanishing point at 40 degrees and then one at 50 degrees. Now that I have my vanishing points, I can create a grid the same way as before. You'll often find that when using a wide angle lens, your vanishing points are a lot closer together and often visible on your page, even when you scale this up. In such cases, it's not essential to use a grid because you can draw your lines directly to the vanishing points, but to keep things consistent, I have created one anyways. So, for this example, instead of drawing a car this time, I'm going to draw the interior of a bedroom. And this is a good example for a wide-angle lens like this because these types of lenses are often used when taking photos of interiors. And that's because they can often make spaces appear larger than they actually are. You can see through these images here how this drawing slowly came together. You can also see that this isn't any old bedroom. This is, in fact, Boxman's bedroom. Something that he hasn't seen for a long time. He is planning on going back home soon, but until then, there's still more to learn. Specifically, how all of what we have covered so far applies to a drawing that is drawn in 3 points perspective. Up until now, the examples I've shown have been in 1 or 2 points perspective, in which the camera is parallel to the ground plane. A third vanishing point appears when we tilt the camera looking down on or up at the subject. As you might have guessed, there's a lot to go through, and so we'll start to look at that in the next video. For now, I'll end this one here. Hopefully you understand now how to set up a drawing in 2 points perspective using any type of lens. If you do want to learn more, I will be creating some study documents on Patreon, which are essentially tutorials on paper. With that being said, thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one.